We're here.
We're here. We are here. We are here. We are here. Horton, here's a who.
Hello.
Who? Us.
Who? Us. Who?
Who?
Us.
Us.
Who? Us.
Who?
Knock, knock.
Us.
Who?
Knock, knock.
Us.
Who's there?
Us.
Us who?
Us.
Ooh. Somebody's at the door. They just keep saying us.
We are here. This is stayfhomekins.
Yeah, man. I'm Paul F. Tompkins.
I'm Janie Haddad Tompkins.
I'm a comedian.
I'm an actress.
We are a married couple living in Los Angeles, and we do this podcast sometimes.
We do this little conversation after our date night dinner at home, and you get to be voyeurs.
Oh, you little creeps. You little weirdos watching us through listening.
Paul said I can talk about whatever I want.
Now, dude, hold on a second. Just so people know, it's because she asks me, can I talk about this? And I say, you could talk about whatever you want. It's not like I decided, you know what, tonight, honey? You can talk about whatever you want.
I'm having like a scary body thing right now. Like we had dinner, which was good. I was hungry.
Mm-hmm. It was good dinner. We had some chicken dumplings.
We ordered from Cali Dumplings. They bring you these frozen dumplings, and then you get to make them in your kitchen. And we had some kale and brown rice. We're kind of on a health kick. We're
just trying to be okay.
And then suddenly, I started getting this dull ache in my lower right abdomen.
Which is what the song Suddenly by Billy Ocean is about.
Suddenly, it has happened to me. I got a dull ache in my lower right abdomen. Right?
Yes, that's right. That's not the Billy Ocean. That's Finally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Suddenly, every now and then I get a little bit dull ache in my...
Suddenly, every now and then.
in my lower abdomen. Suddenly... How does it go? You're not giving it up.
Because you keep jumping in with your songs. Who am I to stop you? Billy Ocean, suddenly the chorus goes like this. I don't know why I sounded like Christopher Walken. The chorus goes like this. You wake up, suddenly you're in love.
And you have a dull ache in your lower abdomen.
That's right. I probably did that wrong. I haven't heard that song in a long time. It's a very pretty song.
By the way, I subscribe to a streaming music service, and I sometimes like to just play Billy Ocean radio and let it, let it fly.
Absolutely.
And you know what? It's fucking good.
Does he ever come on and introduce songs and stuff?
No, that's not the streaming. The streaming music service is just algorithmic.
Right. It's not like the
Although
Bridge
I also
or whatever.
subscribe to SXM. Listen,
SXM
I
radio,
have a lot of subscriptions, which is a problem, but that's a whole other story. So now I'm having this pain, and I thought I was like a hernia maybe. And so I'm pushing around and I'm Googling and, I don't know, like Paul,
How long did you push around, would you say?
Probably like a good 5 minutes.
I'm like mean? You were pushing your own body.
I was pushing on my body.
The sensitive area.
The area.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a little in my lower back too. I don't know. So I'm like, because Paul had a hernia when he was a kid.
And I was in 4th grade.
But it was a groinal.
It was a groinal hernia.
And this is abdominal. Yeah. And so I was like, okay.
The little boy in the bed next to me, he had an abdominal one. We were 2 hernia guys.
Oh, God. And then I was like, no, that's not quite right. And then I was like, oh, but what side's the appendix? Because I'm thinking appendix is like higher up. Then I'm like seeing it's right around the appendix area. And now I'm in a state now. Like now I'm like in a state. And like, are we going to have to go to the ER in the middle?
You're getting it raw right now.
Like a Friday night? I mean, by the way, terrifying. COVID shit's blowing up. I don't want to.
Oh, that's right. COVID.
Yeah, I don't want to add to that burden,
I forgot about COVID.
I mean, unless like an emergency appendectomy is sort of like, maybe that's like a nice break for them. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they're like, oh.
Like I remember these.
Yeah, like
what fun.
I don't want to have to intubate somebody, like, or whatever.
Yeah. It's like you find your old jean jacket from high school and it still fits.
And then I was like, I go through stomach stuff a lot, although not so much lately. And today was a day.
Not so much stomach stuff lately. There you go.
Wait, that's a good one. I want to hear more of that one, to be honest.
I'm sorry, I've reached my limit.
I'm like, I don't know. And Paul's like, can you do this? And I was like, I think I kind of like want to obsess about it here instead of alone-ish in my brain.
But if your appendix bursts while we're recording, that will be a scoop.
You don't want it to burst because then you're going to, that's the dangerous part.
Of course, I don't want it to burst, but imagine.
No, you don't want it to burst away. The bursting is what kills you.
Not necessarily.
You've got to get it before it bursts.
Okay. Well, then I don't want that.
Because you don't want pus in your blood. You could die. You'll go sick.
I feel like I've known people who have had it burst and they got rushed to the hospital.
I don't want to have to be rushed anywhere.
I don't want to.
Number one.
Look, you're from the South. It's a slower way of doing things.
No.
They don't even turn on the lights on the ambulance down there.
I'm like on the verge of tears because I'm like scared and also
honey, I think it's going to be okay.
But also then today was a day and I was like running around and I had to do this and that and the other and this and that and the other. And then I was like, I'm going to do some yoga. And I was doing yoga. And then Paul was like, could it be from the yoga? And like, if I'm frank, yeah, it could.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I'm frank.
Absolutely.
About it.
Yeah.
Because like,
it's good to consider that.
Like I know I have my little running gag, like I'm a spring chicken, but here's the truth. I'm not a spring, like that was just a gag. Oh my God,
a season 2 revelation.
I'm not a spring chicken. It was just fun to pretend. Do
you know how I think people knew you weren't? Is that you used the term spring chicken. Oh, me, I'm just a spring chicken. I'm young.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think of like other things that would be like hilarious, like to give, like to be like, yeah, you know, like when we used to leave the milk bottles out or something.
When the Iceman would come with the giant block of ice on the tongs.
Like something like that.
Yeah.
Or like we had to like practice for air raids or you know, like, I don't know, like what? Other things that could have been like giveaways.
Do you know, like, I did not, I wonder when the nuclear drills stopped in schools. Because I grew up in
the Cold. I mean, there was Cold War like shit going on. But I didn't have any
we didn't do
drills.
like duck and cover and shit like that.
We did duck and cover for tornadoes or something, or like things like where we'd had to go in the hall and like duck.
We didn't do shit.
But I think that was like tornado stuff or something, or I don't fucking know. I mean, it's sad what they have to do now with this active shooter.
It's extremely sad. Yeah.
Very upsetting. Yeah. I don't like that.
Me neither.
Anyway, so that's me. I'm just just like hoping this pain kind of subsides and I can be like, ha, false alarm, y'all. Isn't that funny? I don't have a fever. I haven't vomited or anything. Mm-hmm. Believe me, I would tell you. I would be like, oh my God, I was like so sick. Right.
You practice radical truth telling about your vomiting.
I don't usually say I vomited. I'll be like, I threw up.
I threw up. Does anyone say vomited?
Is that another
I vomited.
Okay, like what would you say? Like we say barf.
I voided my stomach contents.
Barf, puke, upchuck,
hurl.
hurl.
I think I say throw up.
Yeah, like I threw up.
Yeah. I hate barf.
Barf
I don't like
sucks.
that word. Upchuck is for babies. That's for like, I think upchuck is used for ages 3 to 5.
Okay.
Oh, he upchucked. Oh, poor little guy.
I've never used it.
No, of course not.
I've never used it.
No, because you're a spring chicken.
What's like the old? I like want to think of like the old.
Yeah, I know.
Like what's the old?
I can't think of like an antiquated term for
just
throwing
to be
up.
On our little theme of like the giveaway, the giving away of the tipping of the hat of our real ages.
Do you remember when people would talk about things repeating on them? And when I was a kid, I had no idea what that meant.
I only heard that kind of recently.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard adults use it as a kid.
You know who else who said it to me? Felicia. I know she listens to the cast.
Felicia, you're the one that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't like bell peppers. Because why? Who does? Sorry.
Listen, I want to tell you all out there.
I want to like them.
I want to tell you all out there. Find somebody who feels the same way about bell peppers as you do, because it's one of the most comforting things in our marriage that we both despise bell peppers.
We both are not into bell. Now, I'll eat them. Like if someone's like, I'm at someone's house and pizza shows up with like bell peppers, like I'll make my way through that situation. Yeah. Does that make sense?
You'll persevere. Like, nevertheless, you persist.
Exactly.
Me? No, I'll take them off. I'll take them off.
You ever
we went and we got those cheesesteaks in South Carolina. And they were good, except for some reason they had bell peppers on them.
I didn't eat the cheesesteak, I don't think.
You didn't eat it. I ate yours.
Oh, yeah. You ate
the next
mine?
day.
Yeah. Why did we have extra cheesesteaks? Like
because
we had dinner. We forgot about the leftovers.
We forgot about the leftovers. We also did not count on the fact that your mother does not like cheesesteaks, and we just assumed that she did.
Yeah, like also like my mother like doesn't eat any. My mother eats like a 7-year-old.
Don't tell tales out of school about your beautiful mother.
She does eat like I get on her case all the time.
That's fine in private. Yeah, I can't believe you asked me. Can I talk about my stomach pains? But you don't ask me, can I run down my mother in a public forum?
Anyway, it's been nuts. We did release our watch along to the game.
Yes.
People were enjoying that. We enjoyed it.
Yes. What a cast of white people.
It really was. And one lady.
That's so wild that it wasn't even a consideration in 1997, was it? That it's like, yeah, this is fine. Make that one security guard. He's a black guy.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's strange to see it now.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Well, that's on David Fincher.
It's on you, Finch.
Finch. You know I love you.
You know what, Finch?
You know what, Finch?
Yeah. You know what, Finch?
You know what, Finch? I'm a fan. I'm a fucking fan.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're a Finch femme. You've said that so many times.
I'm a Finch fan.
You're a Finch femme.
Finch femme?
Yeah. It's like ladies for David Fincher.
Finch femme. I'm a Finch femme. Do you think he listens to Stay At Home?
Yeah, of course he does. Why wouldn't he? He heard we watched Seven last year. We talked about that on this podcast, I think.
Yeah,
about how
we
dumb
did.
Brad Pitt is in Seven. He's just a straight up idiot.
Yeah, you got Morgan Freeman though.
Of course.
So he wasn't always exclusionary.
Exactly.
He wasn't always exclusionary.
Exactly.
Although I have issue with that Gwyneth Paltrow, the writing of the Gwyneth Paltrow role in that.
Mm-hmm.
What were her interests? She just
her
didn't
husband,
like that town.
Her dumb husband, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, she just hated that. Also, they moved clearly to Gotham.
Yeah, I mean, she was right to hate that town.
The weird fictional, like,
it rains all the time.
Under the subway, trestle or whatever.
Yeah, that apartment sucked. Okay, look, we can't. We've covered this. We've covered Seven. So now we're back.
It still bothers me.
I know.
It's like
it should. Hey, if you're not angry at Gwyneth Paltrow in Seven, you're not paying attention.
I'm not angry at her. I'm angry at the.
No, that's not what I meant.
God. All right. So then this week I had auditions, waiting to hear about a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm convalescing from an emergency surgery, then
maybe they can write it into the commercial.
You know what they should, because That's interesting.
They are ignoring
That's
a
interesting.
sizable demographic of people in hospital beds because of appendicitis.
Yeah.
Also, the appendix is so small.
Mm-mm.
Yes. You don't know
Stop
this?
it.
The appendix
Come
is as big
on.
as your pinky.
Are you fucking kidding
Yes.
me?
And it's useless, and all it does is potentially kill you. That's it. We don't need it for anything. It's just hanging out in there.
Never.
Like a
We
fucking
never did.
time bomb.
We never did.
Oh, 1,000,000 years ago, cave people.
Really?
Yeah.
What did it do then?
Because they had like rocks in their food. I'm sure it was. I'm not quite sure what it was. Maybe it was like a gizzard. I don't know. But it is not something we need anymore.
I mean, I'm thinking more hernia than
Yeah.
appendix, only because like I did strenuous things. Like I moved that coffee table.
Yeah.
Moving that coffee table, that's not good for me.
We have a coffee table that's extremely heavy.
And then I
But
have
it's
to,
beautiful
if I
coffee
want to do yoga,
Mhm.
I have to move it
Yeah.
and then move it back.
I say we
'Cause
leave it moved for a while.
I hate that. I hate
Who
it.
cares? It's just us here.
I know, but when I work in there, I need that coffee table. If I don't work in the front, anyway,
That's true.
this is not what people are tuning in for.
I don't know. I think this paints a picture of our life at home. Oh, I know they have a heavy coffee table.
Also,
I know sometimes she works in the front.
why did we get such a heavy coffee table?
I don't know. I don't know. The thing is, it's a regular coffee table, but half of it is like this stone slab.
It's like a marble slab on one half. But I know why. I know why.
Why?
Because I was obsessed with finding one of those coffee tables with the lift up tray
Yeah. So
top
like you can lift up the top
and
it
have a
becomes like a little
workspace.
desk. Yeah. Yeah.
And underneath that part, there's storage.
Yes.
And I was so excited to finally find something like that. And now, like, because we have to use that, because I can't go to some yoga studio. Although I saw that not too far away, like in the neighborhood next to us,
Mhm.
they were opening a new hot yoga studio in the old hot yoga studio that closed during COVID.
Do you want to do hot yoga again?
That's my point. What are they fucking thinking?
Yeah. I say good luck with that venture.
I was like, because I used to go to that hot yoga place
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. And the thing is with hot yoga, which you probably don't know because you've never done it.
And I never will.
You never will. Is you're crammed in there.
Mm-hmm.
You're inches away. I mean, you're like, there's like bodies all around you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The worst is if you're next to you're behind like a dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
People are half naked in there.
Right.
And they're like, you know, they're just half naked and covered in their tattoos and stuff. And
I bet they wish they could take those off if they could. If it would make them cooler.
And for some reason, so you always get somebody else's sweat at some point, like flicked on you.
No.
Because-
No.
Because you're crammed in there and you're so close. But here's the thing. And my friends and I were talking about this the other day because we were like, remember hot yoga? Ha ha. Like how we did that and didn't think twice
Ha 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 yoga.
about
Yeah.
pandemics. It was always a guy.
Yeah.
It was always a guy who got their sweat on your mat.
And
Always.
how would they do it? It would just fall off of them, or were they doing a specific thing that would get it on there?
It would like fall off of them, or like they flicked, you know, like
you can't flick your
their
hair. You
hair or
can't do that.
something, and then it's like sometimes like when you're stretched out on the mat, like if like I have an extra long mat personally. I'm not even tall, but I'm like searching for more, you know, surface area around me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They might do a move where like their foot like goes off the mat, like out of the bounce.
And onto your mat.
It might touch your mat. Ew, yeah.
Disgusting.
I know, right? And I like did, and the best is like if you went in there and it was like half full because you'd have space around you,
Sure.
number one, but also it didn't heat up the studio as bad.
Okay.
Because like they keep it at like 110.
What? Come on.
That's
Really?
the idea.
I know.
That's the thing.
Look, I know. I got
But
the hot
I
part
swear
of it.
to God,
I didn't know it was that
it would
hot.
get like 115 because like
No.
you didn't know
Ugh.
it was like that?
No.
You didn't know?
I bet it could be like 10 degrees cooler and still be pretty hot in there.
Well, that's the thing is like but there is
Like if you went into an 80-degree room, I think you would say, it's hot in here.
no, you're literally in you're kind of like in a sauna.
No. No. I don't want to be in a sauna.
And like, but that's the idea is like you're sweating like through the whole thing and
Look,
like,
honey, I know the idea is to sweat. I get it. I'm saying you could accomplish that without it being 3 digits.
but the thing is when it was like packed, I swear to God, it was like 115 or higher because
Sure.
like, and they'd have to, and like, they'd have to like crack the door sometimes. And I'd be like, I'm going to get next to that door, you know, I want to get next to that door. Cause you know, I just didn't want to, you know, but the idea of like doing it again is like so unappealing because of what
Everything
we've
you just
gone
said
through
and what we've gone through.
I don't know why I would seek out such extreme experiences, but like there were times, you know, before all this, and now I'm like, I crave like just mundane experiences. Like the last year and a half that we've had has been in and of itself an extreme experience.
True.
And it still like feels like it's happening. And I have a question, like the way that like the country is with this like divided bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm so over it. What's the way out of it?
That's a question to which I have no answer. I really don't know.
Because
if
you
people
look at
if people are going to pretend that vaccines are about a choice and not just a common sense thing, I don't know what to do about that.
There's so many other things now, though. Like
I know, but I mean, if you're talking about that,
but
and
that
people are
is
just
like
gonna
a symbol of
and
that.
people are just going to disagree with it on their principles, like I don't know what you do with that. I don't know what you do with that.
I'm so like bummed out about that.
Yeah. It's a drag.
And I know people are upset
and
about
it's scary.
Oh, the masks and the vax and the abortion, you know, draconian this and the voting this. I'm like zooming out. I'm saying like, I'm just bummed out that people are so fucking angry and like antagonistic toward like I don't want to live like this anymore. Like I don't know how to get out of this hell of, you know, like can't we all just like agree to disagree? What happened to agree to disagree?
Because people started that agree to disagree is about small things, and you can't agree to disagree about masks and vaccines and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's the things now that people are saying agree to disagree about are too big to agree to disagree about. They impact people's lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm like so sad because like, you know, like, I don't know, they came out and said like the federal government is going to require workers and, you know, this, that, and the other. And like, you know, my mom is back in South Carolina and like their dumbass governor's like, we're going to fight this to hell. This is hell. And I'm like, what are you First of all, you shouldn't even speak that way as a leader. Like that is not leadership.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Like as I was growing up, someone might be like, That's not ladylike. Now, okay, what
That's
I'm
not
saying,
leader-like.
it's
Exactly.
not leader-like.
Not leader-like.
It's not leader-like.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you know, they hate him there, and he'll probably win again.
Yeah.
And all I see is hate for him online. I mean, you know, I'm following McMonster now on Twitter. I'm following like, you know, and it's all like because they call him Foghorn Leghorn.
Right.
But like, I don't get the end game. It is like, I understand it's like power and this, but is that truly the only way? Is that the only way they can get votes?
Well,
is that the only way?
It's not the only way, but it certainly is a tactic now. And I think the problem is like, you know, Trump being president was born. I really do feel was born out of America's racism and the internet, and the internet has allowed all of these people to find somebody else who says, I agree with you without having to like get on a train or whatever, you know?
I guess it's the internet, but fascism didn't need the internet before 2016. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, look, of course not. But I think what's happening now in this country is there's enough people who are finding enough people to say, I agree with you about this absolutely dumb shit. You know, and so they're like, yeah, there's enough of us. Like we're a community. We count. You know, our ideas count just as much as your ideas, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. Yeah, it's a drag.
I don't like it. I
like it a little bit.
I think it's so. I don't want to be around for the stupidity. Like it's too stupid.
Honey, I think about that all the time. Like we are born, the time in which we were born means that we get to live through all of this stupid shit that's happening right now. Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it.
My fondest wish is that like little kids, like, you know, our friend Nicole's son who's 2 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I hope he won't remember. Like, I hope when he is told what things were like when he was little, he'll be like, what are you talking about?
People were that stupid?
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah. We'll see.
I mean, I don't know the way out. I guess we have to teach critical thinking skills. That's a huge thing.
That is a huge thing. I also think like, I think about this a lot lately that because it's such an online thing, but if you want to get people to listen to you and you want to seem reasonable and you want to win people over to your side,
yeah,
you should not match the anger of those people and call them ridiculous and stuff. Even though I've done it, I will do it again, of course, because it's very frustrating. But I think like it's almost going to have to be, you have to pretend to be more. You can't sink to their level, you know?
No, I agree with you.
You have to. It's like when I was a kid, we would do a thing in my family where if a fight started, one person would immediately, if the other person raised their voice, then the other person would be like, I don't know why you're yelling. I don't understand. I don't know why are you yelling?
That makes me mad though.
Oh, it's maddening. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse. But I think that's what half of the country has to do.
I feel like we've been in a fight before where I haven't raised my voice, and you've been like, it's
well,
like
I always
made
raise
you
my
work.
Voice.
No, I know, but I feel like that has like triggered you or something when we're having a fight.
No, because the thing that's triggering is not that the other person's not raising their voice. The triggering thing is, I don't understand why you're so upset. I don't know why you're yelling right now. That's the thing that is maddening.
I don't like to think about some of the fights we've had.
I love to think about it. All right, we got to take a break.
Puff the magic spoon. Guys, let's be real. Cereal rocks. And you know it, and I know it. Yeah! But but we're all trying to eat better. So, healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring.
What?
Magic Spoon has amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad
I
stuff.
love the one thing and hate the other thing.
Oh, do you love 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving?
My answer to all is yes.
Do you love only 140 calories a serving?
Yes.
Do you love that it's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low carb?
Yeah, Kato.
Okay, so build your own box, y'all. Available flavors to build your own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle.
Is that all one flavor?
No, those are all the flavors you get to build your own box
So
from.
peanut and butter?
Cookies and cream and maple waffle are totally back permanently. Okay. So it's delicious. It's perfect for a guiltless milled night snack.
I like a milled night snack.
So go to magicspoon.com/homekins to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code HOMEKINS to save $5 off your order. They're so confident that they back it with 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it, they'll refund your money. No questions asked.
Talk about swagger.
So get your next delicious bowl of cereal at magicspoon.com/homekins and use the code HOMEKINS to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon. We all have to cook dinner, but you know what makes it easier?
Somebody else doing it?
Well, okay. Yeah.
Add over.
Okay. Or using a Green Chef meal kit.
Yeah.
So, Green Chef is the meal kit for you because they let you choose from a wide array of easy-to-follow recipes, perfect for keto, paleo, and plant-powered diets, or even if you just want to eat in a more balanced way, which is what I choose when I do Green Chef because I like to be balanced.
You're a balanced person.
So basically, Green Chef has expert chefs. They design recipes that go way beyond ordinary for a diverse array of meal plans and plenty of options to choose from each week. They make leading a healthier lifestyle easier, and everything is handpicked. They have organic veggies, high quality proteins, and it comes to your door pre-measured.
Sorry,
and
did you say everything is henpecked?
handpicked.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry.
No, you think you're projecting.
Oh, you got me.
Green Chef is the most sustainable meal kit, offsetting 100% of its carbon emissions. So you can feel good and have a nice variety of meals to pick from. You don't have to do them into labor. So go to greenchef.com/homekins100. Use code homekins100 to get $100 off, including free shipping. Okay. So go to greenchef.com/homekins100 and use the code homekins100 to get $100 off, including free shipping. The #1 meal kit for eating well. All right. Let's face it. You know, you like CBD oil.
Me? Yeah.
And you know you like quality CBD.
I thought that was implied, but yes.
And you know that it's better to choose an all natural and organic CBD oil.
Yeah.
Which is why we personally,
The two of us.
endorse Feels. Feels, spelled FEALS.
Fun.
Is a wonderful, high-quality CBD tincture.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like I'm at the apothecary.
And it comes in a lot of different dosages. It's short for cannabidiol.
Cannabid oil?
Cannabidiol.
Cannabidiol.
They have over 113 active compounds found from the cannabis plant.
Just like me.
It's going to make you feel calm. I've been using the Feels, FEALS. First of all, it comes in a beautiful little glass tincture bottle with
Their
like a
packaging is
dropper.
very nice. Yes.
So you feel like very old fashioned. And it's very soothing when you put it under your tongue. And in about like 30 to 45 minutes, it usually takes a little edge off my anxiety. Probably should, after this ad, try a little Feels right now.
Not a bad idea.
To calm down my nervous system.
We have it in the home. Why not?
So we like Feels because it's a high concentration, it's no chemicals added, no byproducts, and it's all U.S. grown cannabis. So please use our promo code HOMEKINS at feals.com, FEALS.com, and get yourself a deal that was made especially for our Stay at Homekins listeners.
Yes.
So go to FEALS.com, feals.com, and use the promo code HOMEKINS. It may even work as /HOMEKINS in the URL.
I pray to God it does.
Yes, use it for your anxiety. Use it for like sleeping better at night. I don't know, just to kind of like, see how it works for you. It affects everyone just
absolutely.
a little bit differently.
But they have FAQs on their site, and you can figure out what is best for you.
So, thank you, Feels.
And go get all the feels.
Get some Feels.
Hi, we're back.
I did just get out the Feels.
Can I say something?
CBD. What?
You said Earl.
Yeah.
You were the only other person besides myself that I've ever heard say that.
Stop it.
I've had people laugh at me for saying that.
Because Earl has to die. Da, 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 da. That song.
People mocked me for saying Earl instead of saying URL. I'm like, why wouldn't you say Earl?
Those people probably say Jeff instead of Geff. So
I bet you're right. Earl. It's fun to say.
we're going to be on an upcoming episode of Busy Phillips is Doing Her Best podcast.
That is correct. Our friends,
So watch this
Busy
space.
Phillips and Casey St. Ange, asked us to be guests on the podcast. And
Which
we were
was very
delighted.
excited. I can't wait till it comes out, to be honest.
We had a wonderful catch-up session with
But
dear
there was
friends.
something on that happened in the middle in that podcast when Casey was talking about, like, okay, I'm going to just ask our listeners. We were talking about something, and she used the word for when you take a certain, like, street or avenue to a place.
A detour?
No. Like,
I sort of remember what this is.
and she kept saying it
And it's on the edge of my
over
memory.
and over. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, I remember now.
And I was like, what? Should we just not even say and make people listen to Busy Phillips is Doing Your Best
No,
today
no,
here?
no. We should tell people. It was the word root.
And she was like, yeah, they, all these roots and da-da-da. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I thought she was talking about, like, because I like getting your roots done, but we were not.
Okay, because you are a route person, and that's what you grew
And
up
I was
with.
like, oh, route. Like, that's the route.
But you've never heard anybody use root before in that way?
It was, I swear to God, I think it was like also the way Casey was saying it. She was like, because they'll do this root, they'll do this roots and these roots and that root, other roots. And I'm like, what's she talking about like roots for? Like, what is she talking about? Like roots, like roots, like, like where you come from or like your hair or like, plants. I just like,
I can't believe it took you that long.
It was like, and I was like, what? And she's like, and I was like, oh.
Do you know, I grew up as a root person.
You're a root person?
Yeah, like paper route. That's what we would say.
You never say I had a paper route?
Well, first of all, I never had one of those. And secondly, no, we would refer to it as a paper route.
That's weird.
But I think
that's got to be like a New England thing.
I beg your pardon. I am not from New England.
Well, like Casey's from up there somewhere.
Yeah. It might be a northern thing, perhaps. I don't know. But I think I eventually, without consciously doing it, transitioned to route. What?
Oh, no. It's so funny. Anyway.
Well, one of my favorite things is we would say shopping cart where I'm from, but where you're from, you say buggy. Which I think is adorable.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you get the buggy.
Yeah. It's precious.
I think we've mentioned that on here before.
We may
I
have.
feel like
Who
we've gotten
fucking
emails
cares?
about it where
Look,
people
guys,
are like, I grew up saying buggy, where people say,
we're bound to. What do
I
you
grew
want
up
from
saying
us?
buggy too.
We've been married for over 10 years. We're going to say the same
By
things
the
over
way,
and over
guess
again.
what? You're now married to us. And now you have to now you have to listen to us repeat our shit.
This is
because
what
that's
it's
what
like.
marriage is.
That's what marriage
That's
is.
what this whole grand art experiment has been. This has been a performance art.
You're
This
in the
has been
Matrix.
somehow we have incorporated you into a marriage, whether you want to be in one or not, where you have to sit and listen to our repeat fucking bullshit
And act like
and
you've
act like
never
it's
heard it
fine.
before. Yeah.
And act like, yes, dear.
My favorite thing about being married is when you have the stories that you end up telling together and then you know when you're supposed to chime in with your part.
I don't feel like we've gotten that down.
I think we have a couple like that. I
don't know about that.
I have a sense memory of it. We'll see.
If we ever socialize again. Although we do a little.
Hey, we do a little. Come on.
Paul's got a birthday coming up.
It's true. Sunday. Isn't that weird? I've never been less conscious of when my birthday was than this year.
Yeah.
But it's
coming
Sunday.
up on Sunday.
Yeah. I'll be 53.
We're going to dinner with some friends.
That's right.
It'll be fun. We'll tell you the location after.
Listen, you creeps and weirdos. You're married to us and you're spying on us and don't come to our restaurants.
Oh, I saw Paul in the wild today. I was turning left on the forest lawn and he was turning right on the forest lawn.
We were both buying each other burial plots.
What if that was your birthday gift?
Oh.
What if it was like...
You know what? I would weirdly admire it. Like, that's a bold move. So here's what I got
wouldn't
you.
just get you one. I would...
Fucking tombstone with one date on it and a dash.
No. If I were going to gift you that, like, what if if I were going to gift you a plot, obviously it would be like for both of us.
But what if this would be...
I was like, I got us a Forest Lawn. Like, I went to Forest Lawn Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
They were having a 2-for-1 special. And I got us I wouldn't gift you just the one because that's creepy.
Here's what I think would be very funny.
Okay.
If somebody said, I bought us burial plots and they're in the same cemetery.
Wait.
But they're not near each other. But you present it like, isn't this wonderful? We're going to...
I was able to get it. It
we're
was
gonna be in the
general
same
It was
cemetery.
general admission. I wasn't able to. I couldn't put my.
funny.
I couldn't put my purse on that one to hold it for you.
There's a guy in the middle.
I know
between us.
Oh my God. By the way, I want to be cremated, but he knows that, so whatever.
Yeah, I think I do too.
You know what's creepy though? If I really start to think about it, neither burial nor cremation.
Does it for you?
No, I don't like it.
What do you want then?
Because in real life, I have both a fear of being buried alive and being burned alive.
Sure. What about dead?
I weirdly don't fear being dead because it's like an inevitability. But being buried alive
No.
or being burned alive is not.
I think you have a fear of being buried dead or both.
No, because I feel like what it is that
By the way, good for you for not fearing death. I fear it all the time.
no, I fear it. Some of the fear is the manner of death and less death.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to just die in my sleep.
The dream.
Like, I'd be okay with that. But another one I don't like. Some other choices. No other choices like
burned alive or buried alive.
buried alive, burned alive. Not so good.
Frozen alive, don't care for it. Doesn't get mentioned a lot, but I don't
Frozen
want that
alive,
either.
I feel like, because you fall asleep.
Still.
That's okay.
But
because I want the sensation of falling
Do you think
asleep.
people tell you that to make you feel better about it?
I don't think they do tell you that to make you feel better about
Also,
it
how do they
because you're not supposed to fall asleep if you're in the cold.
I know, but then you feel
You're supposed to try to stay.
You feel like the rapture of your hypothermia, and you're like, "Oh, I'm just going to lay down."
I don't like being cold, which is funny because today I was like 50 different temperatures at varying times of the day. Like, I was all over them fucking map.
I was too a little bit.
I was like sweating. I was hot. It was cold. I couldn't get it right. It just wasn't working out like anywhere I was or what I was doing. Probably part of my hernia / appendicitis. Or what if it's like a tumor that's like, okay, what if I have one of those tumors that benign, hopefully, obs.
Sure.
I don't think tumors hurt unless they're pushing on something, but I have like hair and teeth and shit.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. God damn.
Like, I don't like when you hear about those when they're like, oh, it's a tumor the size of a watermelon, and it had like teeth. Why do they have teeth?
Do you know
They don't have mouths.
That's a good point. Maybe your body just makes teeth sometimes in places where they're not supposed to be.
That's messed up.
I agree. Did you ever read the Book of Lists? You know what the Book of Lists is?
It's familiar.
It was a big thing when I was a kid in I'm going to say the early 80s. And a lot of people had it. And it was literally just a book of lists of interesting things. And one of them was a list of people that had like extra appendages, and it included people that had extra faces.
Wow.
Where there was a guy
Wow.
that had another face on his forehead.
Were there like photos?
No photos. No photos of the extra face people.
They were missing an opportunity because
They sure were.
wow.
Yeah.
Remember like the book of lists, like the 80s were like, you could get rich off of bullshit in the 80s. Like so much bullshit.
You
know
think
what I'm
that's
saying?
not true today?
Yeah, I do. No, I don't.
Oh, I totally
don't.
disagree.
I think you gotta work harder. Cause like in the 80s, you could be like, oh, Sniglets or whatever. And then everyone would buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like nothing. It was like nothing.
But now people are putting out books of their fucking tweets.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Don't tell me that.
Yes, they are.
No one's buying that.
Yes, they are.
Who?
We stayed at a beach house. We were invited to a beach house one summer in recent history.
Uh-huh.
And in the bedroom where we were staying, there was a bookshelf. And on that bookshelf was a book of a famous person's tweets. I could not believe I was seeing it.
We were staying in a teenager's
in person.
room, though.
Yeah. But like Dennis Leary put out a book of tweets. You know what I mean? Like people do this.
What?
Yeah.
I feel like this can't be true.
You can still make money off of bullshit. It's absolutely true.
But then remember like the preppy handbook?
Yeah.
Like I had the
I remember,
preppy
they still make
handbook.
that shit. We just don't go into bookstores anymore.
I don't know.
That's how you would come across it. You know?
But I don't think people get rich off of that.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Rich Hall got rich off of Sniglets. I think he did well, but I don't think it's like, oh, this is the house that Sniglets built.
No, I think that kind of stuff was like, it was like, oh, the national bestseller Sniglets or the national bestseller.
Yes, but I think any author will tell you that national bestseller does not necessarily equal riches.
Did books peak in the 80s or what?
Did they peak in the 80s? What makes you say that?
They just did, I think.
What about the 90s? Did people were not reading books?
You're right. They peaked in the 90s. I'm wrong.
Are you basing it on?
I feel like the 80s was when they started making like bullshit books.
No, there were always bullshit books, and there always
like the
will
toilet,
Yeah.
toilet trivia
There's
or whatever.
always that stuff is. I worked in a bookstore. There was always stuff like that. There's always stuff like that. That will never go away. I guarantee.
I hope I'm not. We probably have some publisher out there that listens to this. That's like, that's my livelihood.
I'm sure they're very happy.
Stop
hitting your microphone stand.
I won the bidding war on Sniglets.
I'm sure he's very happy. Or her.
In a Sniglets was sold in a competitive situation.
You really have it in for Sniglets. Did you ever eat Sniglets?
Yeah, I owned Sniglets.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Here's the thing: it's that Sniglets for me was like the example, and I was trying to think of like other examples.
Preppy Handbook is a great example.
Preppy Handbook.
There were so many things like that, and there
were
still are.
so
Though.
many
We just
things
don't hear
like
about
that.
them anymore. You know.
I had Miss Piggy's Guide to Life. That was actually a good book.
Well, of course, that is good.
That's a good book.
Yes. What are the lessons that you remember from that Guide to Life?
One of the best ones that has stuck with me forever was she shows like that when you're eating food, if you use a food scale, like if you put the cream puff on one side and the broccoli head on the other, the broccoli is heavier than the cream puff.
Right.
Therefore, the cream puff. Cuckoo!
Hi, Cuckoo.
So the cream puff is the better diet because it's lighter than the head of broccoli.
Miss Piggy, you've done it again.
I appreciated the life lessons she taught me. I also had a Miss Piggy calendar. I was like big into.
You were big on the pig?
I was big on the pig. I was way into Barbie. I loved blondes. Y'all, my mom is blonde. Do you think that's what has something to do with it?
Yeah, because you love your mommy.
Also, by the way, I loved Big Bird.
Who's a blonde?
A blonde. I was Big Bird, Barbie, and Miss Piggy like all the way.
Yeah.
I bet, you know what? I feel like I just unlocked some Freudian shit in my mind.
You were all about Big Barbie Pig.
Because my mom is blonde. Oh my God. This is blowing my fucking mind right now.
When you were little, did you think of your mom as pretty?
Yes, because the world did. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
you knew that she was
a
pretty.
fact.
Yes.
Like my mom, like
you
my
heard
mom.
people comment
no,
on
my
it and
mom
stuff.
actually was.
Yeah, no, she was.
Like,
I'm not
beautiful.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying like factually, like so it's not even like a good like. Did you know how like people are like, I always thought my mom was pretty or whatever.
No, but that's not what I'm asking.
Okay.
I'm asking what you're telling me is that you knew, like you heard it from other people too. Like you knew that your mom was pretty and you looked at her and you thought she was pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like even when I was home in West Virginia, like this past July 4th weekend with the cousin reunion, like my older cousins were like, they always ask about my mom, you know, and they're like, God, she was like so groovy, like fashion icon. Like they remember her from that time, you know, in her like Norma Kamali or whatever. You know what I mean?
She's a cool lady.
Yeah. So, and you know, she was slender and blonde with blue eyed, like classically of that time, like twiggy looking.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So by the way, I look nothing like I look nothing like my mom, which is weird. And I look nothing like my dad.
Yeah.
I did 23andMe though, and I am their biological child. Because I made them both do it.
Right.
Because I'm like, it's weird for me to weirdly not look like
because
either
your brother
one.
looks like your dad.
My brother is like my dad.
Yes, absolutely.
Big time.
Yeah. And when we were with your cousins in West Virginia, you don't necessarily, there is a face spectrum in that family where you can see like, oh, all these people are related. But you don't necessarily have a face that falls in that spectrum.
I know. Isn't that weird?
It's very strange.
It's weird.
Yeah. Because we all look like a combo of our mom and dad.
You sure do.
In my family, yeah.
I mean, you sort of resemble the Irish side, I think.
A little more, yeah.
The noses.
Yeah.
The brothers' noses are identical. And remember
true.
I took them to a picture. Because I couldn't believe it.
That's right. She took pictures of all of our noses in profile.
Like Alan, Mark, you have the Irish. It's very Irish. Don't you think?
It's more Irish than Italian for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like genetics. It's weird.
But here's the thing, honey. That just means that you're unique in all the world.
Sure. That's not what you think when you're growing up. You feel like different.
Did you honestly feel like we never talked about this. Did you feel like you felt like less of a connection because you didn't resemble your parents?
Yeah, I've always felt very different from a lot of people in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just went a different way. Like I had my own thing.
Sure, that's true for sure.
And I was being told, "Oh, you're so independent. You're so independent." You know? And it's like, yeah, leave me alone.
But I mean, did the physical aspect of it ever come into play?
Maybe a little. I mean, here's the weird thing. My brother looks like my dad. I look enough like my brother that like we have like the same eyes or something, like the brown eyes or like the same color, kind of. Like
if somebody saw you together and said they're brother and sister, it wouldn't be like, what?
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think when we were younger, for sure, because we had the exact same color hair and the exact same color eyes.
Yeah.
But not facial features or coloring.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and now he's like, you know, he looks like a fucking like
what?
old, I don't know. He's got like gray hair and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He looks like, you know, like he might not be from America.
No.
Like he could blend in, or you know what I mean? He could blend in.
You mean back in Lebanon?
In the Middle East. Yeah. I think. I mean, what do you think?
I bet he could. I don't know though.
The nose.
And the
unibrow.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
He takes care of that of his brows. He takes care of his brows.
The nose.
But I think when I look at your dad, who is first generation,
yeah,
like you can see that there's a little bit of a remove from your dad to your brother.
Because my brother's coloring is not as olive as my dad. Like, yeah, I agree.
And he's so tall too.
Yeah, my brother's so tall. Yeah.
It's funny because my older brother is tall. He's the only tall one in the family. Like in your family.
How tall? Is he 6 feet though?
I think he's
over 6'1".
I think he's 6'1".
Okay.
Yeah. He got it all.
Almost all of y'all look more Irish than Italian, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
almost all 6 of y'all.
I don't know. I think the girls look more Italian.
And maybe.
I think all 3 of them. Now this is where it gets boring for people. Who gives a shit? These people, you don't know what they look like.
This is part of the performance art.
You're married to us. Don't forget. Don't forget.
Oh my God. Don't divorce us.
And please chime in. Who do you think looks more Irish?
So we have this
Italian?
upcoming appearance on Busy Phillips is Doing Your Best podcast. Yes. I was fortunate enough to guest host with Brian Safi.
That's right. It's a great episode for the Ask Rana podcast.
Ask Rana and Brian podcast.
Brian, excuse me.
That's what she says. Excuse me.
That's
what Rana.
Me.
Excuse me.
BRYAN.
And if you listen to Ask Rana and Brian, it's not on their free feed though. It's in their Patreon. But if you like to listen to that podcast,
go ahead and
join the Patreon. It's fun because it's an advice podcast. It's a comedy advice podcast, I should say.
Yes.
It's not just like straight up like, you know, here's the number for a therapist.
Yes.
It's more like OMG. And people write.
They're the wildest things.
Craziest. People write in to that podcast with the most outrageous conundrums I have ever encountered.
Mm-hmm.
It is wild. And always they're like, please don't use my name. And it's like, yeah, no one's going to use your name on that one, buddy.
Yeah.
Trust me, you know. Anyway, that one's fun. And then what else is going on? I don't know. There's other things that have happened.
What
we were
has
off.
happened?
We did
well, we went to the movies. We saw The Green Knight.
Yeah, we did see The Green Knight.
Which is a beautiful film.
It was good. You know why we had to go? Let me say why we had to go.
Oh, there was a power failure.
So my cousin Annie moved to town. Oh, by the way, I did want to put
It was not her fault.
It was not her fault. I did want to put out the bat signal. My cousin Annie, she's in her 20s. She's pivoting into the show business industry. She's looking for an entry-level show business job. So if anyone out there knows of anything, writer's PA, maybe in a development executive office, like assistant on a desk, she's very sharp. She's pivoting from the corporate world, very sharp, big fan of movies and TV, and wants to get her foot in the door out here. So looking for entry level, and a lot of that's through word of mouth.
Absolutely. If there's anyone in Los Angeles listening to this.
So those jobs in a weird way are kind of hard to get because a lot of people, they do start entry level.
Yeah.
And that, puts them in like a pool, I guess,
Absolutely.
or something.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, a lot of those jobs have high turnover because no one wants to stay in those lower positions for long.
Yeah.
So please shoot stayfhomekins@gmail.com an email if you know of anything, and I can put you in touch with Annie. So she was driving across country with her stuff. She had a living arrangement set up out here, and she was going to get in late at night. And I was like, please just stay in our guest room, flex room, whatever, with the 800-pound coffee table. I swear she didn't give me the hernia. We're moving that thing back and forth all the time. Please just stay. But, so she comes and stays. And then in the middle of the night, and by the way, it was like 98 degrees, like for the last,
so
hot.
fucking
hot.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, this is kind of sad, but I guess a drunk driver had a terrible accident and hit electrical transformer, and 3,000 people were without power for like almost 15 hours on Labor Day.
Yeah. Like we woke up and it was super hot.
It was really hot.
Why is it so stuffy in
silent.
here? Yeah.
Like everything was silent. And I'm like, this is weird,
We sleep with 4 noise machines.
And then all over the internet, it's like all of these, like almost 4,000 customers without power. They don't know when they're going to get back. It's Labor Day. These crews were working on Labor Day. And we live in a situation where it gets so hot. Like if it's like that, we have to keep all the curtains closed and everything. Like we can't, because if you open the curtain even an inch, it like lets the sun in, and it's like, close it, hurry. Yeah. You're going to it's going to heat up the, it's like a thing. And so we were like, okay, we got to go to the movies. That's what you do when you don't have any fans.
That's what you do.
You have no fans on, you have nothing. So we were like, we wanted to see Green Knight on the screen, on the big screen.
On the screen.
But it was like Labor Day, and it was like weirdly crowded at the mall. And I know the guy.
We went to the Americana at Brand. Shout out to the Americana at Brand memes.
Yes. Americana at Brand. I know the guy who composed it because he went to my drama school. He's like this amazing.
The Green Knight, not Americana at Brand memes.
Correct. He's like this insane composer, violin player, unreal. And the music was incredible. Like incredible.
It was perfect, yeah.
But also, Dev Patel. I mean, like, come on.
Okay.
I've been talking about Dev Patel all week, and he's like,
Janie slowly reveals her little Hollywood crushes to me.
Come on, you do the same thing. What
do I do?
You slowly reveal. You'll be like, oh, I'll watch this thing that I have no interest in that genre, and I'm like, oh, okay, Rosamund Pike or whatever.
I already told you. You knew that I liked her.
I know you liked her. That's an example. What I'm saying, like all of a sudden, like he's like up for watching this chick flick. It's like, what?
Well, we started watching this thing that I think otherwise you might not watch, called
The Green Knight,
called North Water.
Oh, because of Colin Farrell.
Yeah,
that's not true. Because remember, I think I read the wrong description for it because I thought it was a Nordic murder mystery.
Which is up your alley. That is something you would watch.
There is a mystery element to it.
Sort of, yeah.
It's a psychological.
Yeah.
It's a psycho.
We're really enjoying it. It's on AMC Plus.
But that's
which
what
is
I'm
like
saying.
another
No,
fucking
I
thing.
think I read that is up my alley. The Nordic murder mystery.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I think I read some other description and I thought that was what.
We're saying the same thing.
Oh, okay. First of all, they didn't have to say. They didn't have to say. They didn't need a description because Colin Farrell's face.
That's exactly what I'm saying now. You'll watch anything. Like, this is something you would never watch in a million years, but he's in it. He's not even attractive in it.
I know he plays he plays like a pig in it.
He's just
he plays like a
psychopathic
slob.
pig. Yes.
Yeah, but I think he's a really good actor, though.
He's terrific. Yeah, he's great.
But like, here's what's so funny about it is I was like, I want to watch this Colin Farrell thing, and because I'm like, you don't need a description. All you need is Colin Farrell's face. But to be fair, this is not something I normally would have been like, yeah, I want to watch this, 19th century whaling boat, like with all these like fucking psycho dudes on it.
This
like,
is something we would try, and after the first one, you would say, "This is one you could probably watch on your own."
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I know. After like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I would have been like, maybe I'm not getting into this one or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, but we started it, and now I'm like, no, but because that like got me into watching it, like I made myself get through like the first 3 chapters of this book or whatever, because it's sort of like a book. It's like reading
It's based on a book, yeah.
And also I had to turn on the subtitles because I could not understand some of those accents.
Oh, some of the accents are super thick.
I was like, what? And like, I kept making Paul back it up. I'm like, tell me. I was like, honestly, what did they just say? Like, what did they just say? And he's like, I think he wants he wants a drink and he doesn't have the money. And I'm like, what? How did you get that out of that?
I'm pretty good with accents, with thick UK accents. I'm pretty good.
So we started watching it, and now I'm literally like so hooked. I'm literally like, I was like, is this the last one? And you're like, no, there's like so many more. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta go to bed, but I can't wait. And then tonight you're like, maybe we can watch a movie later tonight. And I'm like, what about the whalers?
It's true.
I gotta find out what happens to the whalers.
I wonder if you would ever watch The Terror. With
is it supernatural though?
Not heavily.
Who's in that one? Russell Crowe or something?
No, it's Jared Harris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My Chernobyl bud. I love Chernobyl. Chernobyl I thought was like a masterpiece.
It was excellent and very heavy.
Yeah. Guess what? It's about Chernobyl.
Okay. I don't need this from you.
You mean a nuclear disaster is...
Okay, let's wrap this up so we can watch Colin Farrell. Do you have any recommendations other than
definitely
North
Busy
Water?
Phillips is doing her best. But definitely Patreon for Ask Rana and Brian. Guys, this is my recommendation this week. I can't even believe I didn't even get into this. Okay. There is a bananas family murder saga unfolding in real time in South Carolina that it's the Murdoch family. There's a podcast called The Murdoch Family Murders.
No, hold on a second. But not the Murdoch like Rupert Murdoch.
No, it's spelled like Murdow.
Okay,
But
just so
you
people
say
know.
it Murdoch.
Because when you say it's the Murdoch family, I think
But
that makes
I
people
am
think.
calling it the Redneck Succession.
Yes, you are.
And that, by the way, is based on, I think, the Murdochs. No.
In part, yeah.
The
It is, yeah,
Succession?
for sure. Yeah. It's based on a lot of people like that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
These people are like it's like a good old boy, like patriarchal white supremacist kind of dynasty in South Carolina that over like 100 years in this town has been like the law. Like whatever solicitor, whatever, like law firm, like biggest law firm in the state. Back in June, 2 members of the family were shot dead on their property. Now, there was the mother and the son were killed. The son was about to face like a trial for having killed a girl driving a boat drunk. That's nuts. Okay. Facing like 20 years. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, there was another mysterious death linked to one of the Murdaugh boys. Prior to that, another mysterious death, like their housekeeper or whatever. Then just this weekend, okay, I can't make this shit up. The dad gets shot in the head by supposedly someone on a rural road. Nothing adds up. None of it. He said he was stopping to fix a flat tire. Someone ambushed him, like ripped up his tire. Law enforcement found the knife that did it to the tire. Belonged to him. He's in the hospital.
Now you're spoiling things.
It's not. That's all in the national news.
I know, but that's not where you got this from.
Well, it's so nuts. My mom texted me tonight and was like, "Aaron Burnett's show's on the Murdaughs tonight on CNN."
Wow.
And like Dateline's already in town and
Of
all this
course.
shit. So I'm just saying, if you want, but I have to recommend the Murdaugh Family Murders podcast specifically because a local journalist, Mandy Matney, is really the only one to trust in a way because she has been covering the Murdaughs for over 2 years, like the whole time. And all the national outlets are using her reporting. And she's the one with all the sources.
Wow.
So that's why I'm saying go to the Murdaugh Family Murders podcast specifically and support Mandy's reporting.
Yeah.
Because she works for Fitz News and it's a subscription-based local journalist outlet. And, I say that kind of reporting is pretty cool and persistent and tenacious. And also, this is not over. Okay, that was my recommendation. Sorry.
Unfortunately, my recommendation is also about murder, but not entirely. I'm reading I'm almost done. I'm up to the epilogue of this book called The Wicked Boy by Kate Summerscale.
Okay.
The Wicked Boy. And it's about this murder in Victorian England.
Like a true?
Yeah, this really
Is it true?
happened.
Okay.
It was a 13-year-old boy killed his mother.
Oh.
And so the story is the crime, then the trial, and then after the trial. And it's what happens after this kid, what happens with the rest of his life after he goes to trial. And it's fascinating. Like it's very detailed. Like the research is incredible and it really paints a picture of that time.
I have a question. Would you describe this as a nonfiction book or a historical fiction?
No, it's a nonfiction book.
A nonfiction book.
This absolutely happened.
And
yes.
how did you come across this book? Like what?
Just through like a search for
like
stuff.
It just like popped up and you read the description and you're like, I'll check it out. And now you're like sort of fascinated by the book and you're almost
it's
done.
great. It's terrific. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check that one out myself.
And I think we're both going to recommend The Green Knight. It's a beautiful movie
Yes.
and great performances and visually just incredible.
And you'll love Daniel Hart's music, I think.
Yeah. So do see that either in
visually
theaters or
incredible.
at home.
Dev Patel is in it, so it is visually... visually incredible.
Visually incredible.
As he said.
All right. That's
it was interesting. I like that movie.
We are stayfhomekins on Twitter and Instagram, stayfhomekins@gmail.com if you want to write to us. And that's it. We'll be back soonish. And until then,
stay safe,
stay sane, and stay strong.